Hey guys, I'm Al.
I'm Woody.
And this is the Skid Factory.
I've got to say, 5 years takes its toll. You're wearing glasses. I'm a lot fatter and got heaps of grey hairs.
I'm wearing glasses and I still can't see properly.
Welcome back to the Skid Factory. This is a 5-year special. Pretty much not to the day, but to the week. 5 years ago, we released our first episode on YouTube. So it's been a long time. We've had a lot of fun.
It's been a lot of cars. I had to go back through Td42 and the current TSF channel to remember all the cars that we've built.
We should start off with how the Skid Factory first originated back MCMTV2 days.
Yeah, okay.
You tell that story because you're the originator anyway.
Yeah, so I knew Marty from Mighty Car Mods from forums back in the day. We were Subaru people, so was Benny, that we all knew each other through that sort of forum community that used to be a thing. And eventually Martin asked me to be a guest on their show to do some turbo stuff, which is where Moog named me Turbo Yoda, which I didn't name myself that. That was just his creative juices flowing. Eventually, well, you met them.
I was always hanging around.
Yeah, you actually filmed some of it.
So I will say, I'm a mechanic by trade. I've said this in the past too, but many people still ask. I'm a mechanic by trade. Al had AM Auto Services, which is now ran by Miles and his wife Angie. I was the guy that I was to go hang out at their shed, because that was the cool workshop in town. So always had cool cars. Al was always doing something crazy. I ended up starting to sweep the floors and empty the bins just because that's the kind of thing that I did.
Bring me Lemonsquashes.
Just, yeah, hey, pick up a carton of Lemonsquash on the way down. And then I eventually did a build of my own car in the shed. An old Wonky, yeah.
We still had...
I want to get into that actually.
Old Wonky, oh my God. Today on Al's Shed, we're going to check out Woody's Cressida. So, yeah, eventually I decided to come back to this shed and just do my own thing, just a lifestyle change, I suppose, after having a business for nearly 10 years. So
at the same time, Martin just poached and said, you guys should be doing YouTube videos because you're always doing cool stuff in the shed. So.
Yeah, pretty much exactly what he said. You do cool stuff, you should video it, which is pretty much what we did.
We did.
So
I've got to say a massive thanks to Martin and Moog for getting us off the ground. Like, we wouldn't be here without them to begin with. We're still close mates. I speak to Martin on the phone a lot, and we're in group chats like all the time. And without the help from those guys to begin with,
yeah, I feel like we got a pretty big leg up.
We had
having their knowledge.
We had the chance to kind of start as Skid Factory channel from zero, new channel, 0 subscribers, or it was start on MCMTV2, and it was kind of like, we've got the viewership here already, or you start from zero and potentially not even have a channel. So that's kind of why we did the MCMTV2 thing. And then...
It worked.
And that was 2 years? Or a year? No, 1 year.
18 months, I think it was.
Okay, we're getting technical here. And then 18 months later...
If you want to get technical, it was 5 builds and 4 build reviews, plus some tech articles.
Okay.
I've done my research.
There we go. Alan's got a notepad over here. I don't know if it's in the shot or not.
Actually, let's say it's 6 build, because what probably brought the whole thing to fruition was the Stagia.
Yes, 100%.
That was really the first Skid Factory build, I suppose, even though we didn't have a name, and it was just... We were just doing stuff because it was cool. So yeah, that was a really cool car.
I will say...
One of the many.
Building Benny's Stagia in the shed here was such an awesome experience. Like, that was more of a... Like, you know, we do this... Like, doing the working bee on this car recently, it was like, you collate all your friends, everyone's working hard, everyone chipped in, and we smashed that car out. Benny and Martin would fly up over weekends to come and do it. So
it was a big job.
It was like weekend off, weekend on, give it a couple of weeks, they'd fly back up. And yeah, that was a massive job.
It was also, yeah, it was quite quite an engineering project, really. Like, we got skillful mates involved, and it was kind of a thing that I'd thought up at some point, and like all the stuff that he used in the car was mine. I'd bought it to do it to my own car, and then sort of, I don't know, it's kind of a thing that I do, come up with these ideas and then don't want to do it for my own stuff, and then I just talk someone else into it.
Always.
Really good at it. And Benny was up for it. So, yeah, that turned out really sweet. And
awesome car,
which
yeah.
the look of it goes is to the credit of Benny. He's got quite the knack for style and stuff when it comes to especially JDM cars. So, yeah. Anyway, that's kind of kicked off
That kicked it off. Then we went into the Fairlane.
Mark still owns the car. We're still modifying it. It's been through a few different stages, and broken some tail shafts and all the usual stuff, which is, like about 25% of the cars we build break tail shafts.
He's never broken a gearbox though, which I was surprised about. The A340 held up.
Even when the tail shaft exploded, it still didn't break the gearbox.
Holy!
We've still got stuff to do to it. We got some more stuff hidden away to mod on it, and we'll do that as soon as we have time. Which this thing's taking up all our time at the moment, and yeah, we're pretty busy.
My neck and my back. I want $100,000.
Then we moved on to the Td42 Patrol. That was just a car that you.
It was just a car,
went diesel.
It was kind of a tech article more than anything, how to do it, and I know people still use that as a reference of how to actually do that job.
Yeah.
And that's what we tried to portray it as more of a, this is how you do it. And I think it worked well for that.
Was it Cam's No the one next? We're going to do
No, it
chronological
was
order.
R32.
Oh yeah, Matt's Skyline, which you've got to get that back, Matt. If you're watching, I know we've done some stuff to it, but
It's going through
I want to get that on the track.
a rehabilitation process at the moment. But yeah, we kind of let Matt do a lot of the work on that, and kind of obviously helped him, but we more
Matt's very skilled himself.
filmed it because he's very skilled, and I don't like to step on people's toes when they've got the skills to do it themselves. I'd rather just help them do it, because it's that's the satisfaction of getting something like that done. So
Cam's Nova was another highlight build for me, purely for the fact of hanging out with Marv and building a sick car. Cam's also a legend too. That build was smashed out. Dunning-Kruger as was involved.
it is a sick car, and also just the Marv antics.
Yeah.
It's like the voice of most of our
Don't give him away.
may or may not be the voice of a lot of our, I don't know, what would you call them, ring-ins or?
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to cut to some audio here.
Oh, hey there, son. Look, can I sell you another one of those single-sided door locks for that tomato plant room you got down in the basement of your house?
He does it well though. Come on, he does it.
There's also the Bedford in there too. So we built both of those cars were here at once, and we sort of.
That's right.
We did them at the same time. So we actually got ahead for once when we did that.
After the Bedford, which took 19 episodes and 3 years to build. Hang on, after the Bedford we went to the VL. VL was a sick build, OG VL. We've actually got another VL coming, which is a very special car. It's owned by Shane, who has done the bonnet work on Al's Crown here, complete with a energy polarizer, so that probably gives it away there too.
Yeah,
so
if you're an Aussie car person.
awesome just a quick little series on that.
Just some improvements.
The VL is actually one of our most popular builds, I suppose because it's the first videos we released on the Skid Factory channel, but they were popular.
We get
It's an iconic Australian car.
Australians like Australian cars, so you throw a Barra or a VL or something in there and you get a lot of Aussie views, which is great.
another highlight build for me was the RX-3, which we did a build review on, and that was mainly just Alan smashing that car out and building it for our mate Luke. But that was such an awesome car. Like, it was a really, really well done. The whole packaging was neat and tidy. I love that. It was good.
And rotaries are rare, bro.
Rotaries are rare. Hopefully we're going to do one day soon. Don't know when that's ever going to happen, but one day we'll get there. One car that did stand out was Nathan's V12 Land Cruiser, which also is another vehicle that's going to be coming back on the show, which for some, would you call it rework, I suppose, or it's never really worked after it left here, and that makes us sound bad, but we left it up to Nathan to
It just annoys me that it doesn't, that he hasn't been able to use it because, not because of anything we've done, but just for stuff that already existed that wasn't quite right.
It's basically the setup, like the ECU and stuff, and it was left as it was, and it never was. It was always unhappy. And
here's a hint: it's not a Haltech, and if it was, it would be working properly. So
it had failures, and he's been through like 4 dashes that don't communicate with that specific ECU, and
actual ECU failures, and then dashes that never work. So
anyway,
we're going to fix that.
Nathan's got that coming back. We're going to fix it up. But that build for me was really cool. Again, hanging out with friends, building a really cool car, and the standout episode was actually going to. I forget what that 4-wheel drive park's called. The Springs, I think it might have been. The Springs 4-wheel drive park. And hanging out with all those Land Cruiser guys and doing those tracks was really cool. Old mate Pinky let me drive his cruiser around. It was just a sick day, awesome day wheeling. I really enjoyed that. That was a really good one for me.
The Iron Line project was something that I enjoyed. And again, I liked it because it was practical and we modified it and it worked, and it's still working, and we finally got to take it for a big cruise up to Rocky Nats and make use of it, and you just appreciate
2 years later
the fun of an old car, and especially like a 6-seater wagon and just filling it up with your mates and stuff, and it's not that powerful, and there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing crazy outstanding about it, but it's just fun, and that's what you should be after.
The Barra Mustang build was something that both stood out for us. I think we both enjoyed that. Not only building the car, starting in Vico and hanging out with Adam and the crew at MPW. Jason from Tough Mounts loaned us his car to do like preliminary like intercooler piping
fabrication and stuff,
on it.
Because we didn't know what would be available once we got to the States. So.
Then Benny organised to ship all that stuff over to the States. Benny organised with other Benny, and we bought this car, and I say we, it's not mine, but this car was purchased, and we built this thing in 12 days, I think it was.
Obviously, you got to give like a lot of credit to Benny. He's an incredible
100%.
organiser, and it was basically his project, but we sort of filmed it, which I think we got pretty lucky with that, and it was
Benny.
It was a bunch of fun, and we got heaps of good memories of the gator house that we lived in South Carolina, and we didn't see a gator in the backyard, but it was a sign that said they might be.
I checked every morning for gators, and there was never one. I didn't see one.
Yeah, it was all good fun, and it was sweaty, and there was lots of bum rot, and
that was a really good time.
But it was great, just hanging out with the locals. It was a real ground level sort of build. Like we were in a workshop with locals. It was just a basic normal workshop, and we just did what we could do.
Speaking of locals, how good was the seafood?
Oh yeah, there was actually a thing called Locals.
So good. I love that place. I was actually secretly cheering when that thing started making engine noises. I wasn't cheering, but I knew from a YouTube perspective that, hey, this is going to create some awesome content.
Everybody likes failure,
carnage,
which is kind of jerkish.
It is jerkish. But then meeting up with Pete Harrell from HED and Robbie Abbott
from Abbott Engines, which we built the Bedford engine, the new Bedford engine. He was our saviour, kind of side of the freeway. Hey Robbie, can you help us? Yeah mate, I'm at this engine building shop. Come on up. What?
What were the chances of that?
How could that be? So we went up there, and they guys opened the door and just put on pizzas and rebuilt.
It was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome, and that was it was actually a highlight of the whole thing was that human sort of side of it where people just helped us.
Yeah.
And it's, that was cool.
If any guys are watching, thanks again. That was like not only like career highlight there, but life memories was just absolutely awesome. Bucket list kind of stuff that not many people can get to experience. Dave's VK, which you probably have to speak about this one, was a car that is another sick one we built. Twin turbo LS or LQ. Is that what it is? LQ4? LQ9?
LQ4.
VK Commodore. Awesome car, which should be registered in my eyes, Dave. Should get that thing back on the street. But yeah.
Obviously not with
side pipes and stuff on it, but it's an awesome car. I love that thing. The build was great. Memory of that build, going to start it up for the first time and sounding like it had no compression and it was running on one cylinder.
It didn't have any compression.
Because the push rods were too long, and they must have been they were the same push rods you pulled out of it. We had the decks, they had the heads decked, and we changed the gaskets, so it was must have been minuscule.
They must have been only just running.
Yeah. But that was a nice build. That was a cool build.
That's probably the first car we made over 1,000 horsepower.
It was actually, yeah.
Which seems like that's 1,000 horsepower.
Chump change these days.
My stock 2JZ makes that.
No, it doesn't. Maybe it does.
No, it doesn't.
My MR2 was probably around that after that, wasn't it? How far back are we going now?
Yeah, your MR2 was next.
MR2 was cool.
Obviously, that's a highlight for Woody.
Well, I don't know. That car came around. It was actually, how it started was Martin was working on his SW20 on Mighty Car Mods. So he posted videos. We were in the limbo of what vehicle are we going to work on next. That was my little brother's car that was underneath a mango tree. And I just said to Al, I was like, hey,
We're all good Woody builds start.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. There's not a mango tree out the front there, but there's trees that there's leaves falling on. I called Alan, was like, hey, what about Pat's car? We pull it apart, do a bearing slap, and away we go.
That's not what happened.
And yeah, we ended up, I painted everything, I went to town on the car, which I don't own anymore, I've sold it on. The new owner has reportedly loves the car, so it's good.
I thought it was great. I thought it turned out really well, which I probably never told you, but
That's the first
I thought it turned out exactly like it should, and power, but for an MR2, it was powerful.
Yeah.
160 horsepower, whatever it made, and it revs to whatever, and loves it.
Yeah.
So it was a good driving experience. So.
Yeah. What was next?
Good work, bros.
Tells me this 5 years later.
Not a Ferrari, for God's sake. It's a friggin' Corolla with the engine in the back.
How is it not a Ferrari? It's red, it's a two-seater, mid-engine.
My next highlight car is Justin's Volvo.
Yeah,
and there's a few reasons for that. One, it was obviously a great story because his partner organised the whole thing behind his back, which is kind of cool. He wanted to do the job and he had all the bits, but it just never happened. And that's life, it's not easy if you don't have the space and the shed and all that stuff that I take for granted. It's not always easy. So she organised it alongside his good mate Lee, and we did it here. Lee is a mechanic as well, but they couldn't do it. He couldn't do it because Justin was always there. They hung out together. So the other reason I liked it was actually a really practical conversion. It was quite easy to do, which was I think we were doing the Tirana at the same time, and
that was mainly you.
I'd finish the end of the Tirana and go, my God, this thing's giving me the shits because nothing seems to work, and then later in the afternoon go and work on the Volvo, and everything just seemed to work, and that's a bit of a rarity. And it's also, to me, that means it's a good swap. So everything just worked out. It all went together fairly easily. Didn't cost much money, and it did the job at the end of the day. So and we got to deliver it over to Juzzy, and then later on
his birthday too.
Later on take it to Lakeside and you give it a flogging. And
it's the Power Cube formula.
The 1UZ formula.
1UZ
Don't go
turbo.
over 400 horsepower at the wheels. Don't spend any money on it.
Done.
Just bolt a turbo on it.
Profits.
That works. The next build we did after the Volvo was my Patrol, which was a long time in the making. I'd had the car for...
Huge.
The car had been sitting out in the yard for a couple of years by then, and the engine had probably even been built for a couple of years.
The engine was built, but there was delays getting it here to Australia. Then it sat at Old Cock's shed
For ages.
because that's where we got
Because
to
it's
live.
so big, and we didn't have anywhere to put it. And anyway, eventually we got there eventually, and everything fell into line, and we also got a heap of support on that car, and it was a cool build, and a lot of people helped us with it, like as in product support and that sort of thing, Dobinsons and a whole bunch of people that are in the scene, and it all came together really well. Like we obviously put a lot of effort into it as well.
Massive project though. Also go back to the Canada days and building that engine in Canada with.
Yeah, that was
Which
awesome. Like
was-
that was, especially at the end of a successful drag week trip. We then moseyed on up to Canada, and
Remember that meet we did there too with them? That was sick.
yeah,
That was really good.
it was good fun. I'd love to go back.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't know, the Boss Garage is now a really big channel. Back then they were sort of newish.
Yeah. No, kinda.
Yeah.
When you first were in cahoots with them, it was new, but now it was. Them.
Now they're way bigger than us. It's obviously a good channel. They do a lot of cool agricultural stuff and heavy diesel stuff and all sorts of crazy stuff. And Rich and Aaron are also, and Stefan, great blokes, and we really enjoyed our time there.
That was sick, yeah.
And at the end of it all, the Cummins was a beast, and it sounded awesome, and it just had, I don't know, it's just the vibe of driving it was like...
It was good, yeah.
It's like Brodozer spec.
And then you sold it. Did you say Brodozer?
Yeah.
That's a sick one.
Yeah, it was a Brodozer.
You wouldn't get any more looks.
Man,
at
that thing performed off-road. Like, I'd never really done much like off-roading, and that thing was just effortless. Like, It was so capable. Didn't have to thrash it.
Do that much crazy stuff.
Just tracted its way through everything.
Everywhere you went, I went in the Pajero.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. There was only one track you didn't.
Just the one where it was hard. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Holy dooly.
After the Patrol, we moved on to Gus's Liberty, which is a sick build. It's cool to see Gus and his mate. What's his mate's name again? Harry. Transformed from, like, even the footage, you see him grown from when we filmed that to now. They're both young men, and Gus just clicked. Like, it was like, bam, I'm into cars all of a sudden. It was crazy. That's a cool car too. I mean,
It is.
You're a Subaru guy from back
That's
in the
why
day.
I knew it'd be a perfect P-plater car, because it's, I want him to have something cool, but it's got to be safe and capable and practical and stuff, and it ticks all those boxes. So
Yeah.
it was awesome to sort of get him into it. And,
It was a mint first car.
yeah, it was better than my first car, and so it should be, because
Was it a Datsun 1000?
Datsun 1000,
Yeah.
it was sunny, B10,
Wow.
$170.
That's what the Rotary project should be.
Sure. I've got an old car already.
Yeah, true. Speaking of old mint cars, the Hakko was the next kind of highlight build again. It's a recent one, but it's still epic. Like, that thing's such an awesome car. I've driven that car quite a lot now myself. Been down on the Gold Coast and done some trips in it, driven on the track. Awesome driving experience. Everyone gives you a thumbs up. Everyone looks at you and waves at you. Like, it's such a...
It looks awesome on the highway. Following you down to Goldie the other day, it was just like, it's just got some presence.
Yeah.
And it's not just car guys that love it. It's like
Anyone will, wave.
where we took it, there was just a whole bunch of different people. It wasn't a car show, so to speak, and just it was just like people appreciate the style of it and what it is without even knowing anything about cars. So
Yeah.
and of course the car people are just like,
Yeah.
because it's so sick.
It does need that car does need a few finishing touches. As sick it is having filters out the bonnet, I reckon having a nice, probably not as aggressive as what you've got on this.
Sick until rain is impending and you're stuck in traffic.
Not a bonnet bulge, but something that, I mean, you have to do something to clear it, but something more stylish. And then the diff, that two-way is really aggressive.
The two-way diff is horrible.
Yeah, so
Never,
it's clunky
ever.
and noisy.
It's-
And I reckon the tyres need to be, Rogers come for playtime. The tyres need to be bigger sidewall, more sidewall on tyres, just to fill it, get it off the ground a bit more and give it more of a, fill the guards up, I think would be a good one. But that car is awesome. And then we moved on to this awesome car, which has been probably, would it be the biggest build? No, maybe not. They've all been massive builds.
I don't know, it's
There's been a lot of time in this behind the
similar
scenes.
to the others, I suppose. It's not. It's doing different stuff for sure. We've done things to this that I've not done to anyone else's car, and probably because I probably hadn't had the experience, so I'd rather sort of play around with stuff that I'm not super confident with on my own car. So it's my problem rather than someone else's. But I think it's turning out pretty well.
There is stuff on this car that I'm not happy with. There's a few like chrome trims, cosmetic wise, chrome trims, just little things that this is all right, but then the taillights have got like pitting on them and the door handles have got some pitting. Personally, I would like to get them eventually done.
Yeah, well,
One day.
there's a lot of stuff that probably needs to be done. Like the bars are obviously meant to be chrome, but
Yeah.
getting bars chromed at the moment is a 6-month wait. So we don't have that time. So we just blasted and painted them. They can be chromed later, and maybe
Someone commented to wrap them. Actually, Gus mentioned that too. To wrap
chrome
them.
wrapping.
Yeah, chrome wrap, which would come out well.
They look alright.
And that pretty much sums up the Skid Factory build highlights over the last 5 years. If you've got a favourite vehicle or time or episode or prank call that you like,
Or remix of my ums.
let us know in the comments section. I realise I say a lot too. It's not easy. It's not easy being put on the spot in front of the camera.
Yeah, true.
It's not easy being a YouTuber. It's hard work. We love what we do. It is a sick job. And we've got some pretty, I just said again, we've got some pretty cool projects coming up. Personal projects which we're trying to work towards. You may or may not have seen in previous episodes, we may have given them away. We've got a really cool project about to start, which is a partnership car for a drag vehicle, which we purchased off, what did you call him?
Australia's most handsome tuner.
Australia's most handsome tuner. He is pretty good looking. And that's all coming up on the Skid Factory.
Maybe it's just Australia's biggest tuner.
Oh, that's an insult, man.
No,
that's a write-off.
It's like 8 foot tall.
Oh, so tallest?
Biggest, yeah.
Australia's biggest fast Corolla collection.
Well, yeah.
Well, actually, Guy King would have him there soon too.
And Golby.
And Golby, yeah. God damn. It could be anyone.
The Corolla sickness is real.
Righto, thanks for watching, homies. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Jump into the merch store and get yourself some sweet merchandise.
I think we're having 5% off for 5 years, is what Heidi said.
Are we?
Yes.
All right, that's great. 5% off for 5 years. Just use the code.
It's not going to last for 5 years. It's 5% for this month to celebrate the 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Terms and conditions apply.
Can I get more than 5% off?
No.
We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Transferred across?
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, that one. So can you send, look, just send enough, hey? And I'll put the rest back when it's done. You know how it works.
No, Mr. Cam, you spend it too much. No.
Look, we'll just ramp up operations. It's all good. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Okay, Mr. Cam. I'll see you later.
All right. Thanks, sweetie.